Hello everyone, can you hear me well? Yeah. Oh, sorry about my voice, is a bit funny. It's a combination of the cold weather and also because of the speaking, so it's a bit funny. I try to speak clearly so you can understand me. I'm Leila, coming from Auckland, New Zealand. I'm going to talk about how we can do AI for analysts, how analyst people can able to use AI. Before I start, we have still a couple of minutes so other people join. How many of you worked with Power BI before? Okay. How many of you worked with any AI or machine learning tools? Okay, cool. Sure. So in this presentation, I mainly go through the visualization and some of the aspects that we have in Power BI as an analyst. So if you want to use, you see different options from pre-built AI that we have, from some visualization that recently added, to some of the old one, but I really love some of them. They are really good. So I'm going to talk about them. Yeah, silent your phone, please. I'm also make sure that I silent it. And explore the past content. All of the speakers that you see in the past summit, they also run the webinar for past. They write blogs. So just follow the content. You will find really interesting topics to actually present. As I mentioned, I'm Leila. I'm actually AI and data platform MVP. That means that I cover both. I do some Power BI, Power Apps and Flow, plus AI in Power Platform and data side. So I try to cover all of these things. Based in Auckland, New Zealand, but we travel a lot. I can say we are in Europe sometimes, in US, in Asia, so we try to kind of be everywhere. I'm working with Radakat, that's a consultancy company. I and Reza has a session in the same time as me. He doing the Power BI session. So also I did a PhD, but my PhD is not in the statistics, it's information system. But in that process, I'm start to learn AI. So this session is part of the AI pathway. So you heard about the really interesting idea that we have pathway for the covering the actually material. So if you didn't attend these sessions, please go and watch their recordings. They are interesting session about AI for everyone. That's a general description to AI, AI for DBA, AI for developer. I had one session yesterday about AI for BI people that I cover machine learning aspects, about Azure Machine Learning, cognitive services inside Power BI. And today I'm going mainly focus on AI for analysts. That is about the different visualization aspects that we have for using the AI. So yeah, of course, for people who come yesterday, I have some introduction to AI ML. I will also try to talk about it a bit. Then I'm going to show you some of the demos that we have. Some of the demos is actually just released about a week ago, so they are really new. So myself still didn't use them, but I will show you so you know that what's coming and what we have. So yeah, let's see that, how it's going. So what is AI and ML? Everyone talk about AI and ML, how it actually works and how we can use it. This is a chart that I always shows in my presentation, talking about these relationships. Always they are misleading that they think deep learning is actually AI and deep learning is an umbrella term, but it's not actually. AI is an umbrella term. We have machine learning, and after that we have deep learning. So AI is to any system that able to sense the environment, able to interpret what's happening, react, and then reasoning. But machine learning is part of the AI that's actually able to learn from the data, create a model, find a pattern, and then based on that is going to actually to predict. But sometimes not predict. I will show you in the key influencer visual that I'm going to show you. We just extract some information, some behavior of the data, and then we see that actually how it works. So not always for prediction, sometimes just to understand what is happening in data. If you ask me what is the deep learning is part of the machine learning that normally we says that is used for analyzing unstructured data like images, like voice, like text. They are not numbers. We don't work with these unstructured data normally in our daily life. All we have is number and a string, okay? So these are actually deep learning approaches help us kind of to do that. Of course, they can be used for predictive analysis, but what is the main use case of them is to analyze the unstructured data. Okay, this is a chart that I created about a week ago because the development of the feature in Power BI is so fast, it's hard to catch up. But this is the kind of the, I can say the latest one, at least till last month. So I will share this slide for sure. Just let me make some space. So I can set AI in Power BI or in other Microsoft tools can be used for different type of people, analysts, BI people, and data scientists. I try to categorize each of these features for each of their role that we have. So using the R and Python visual inside the Power BI for data scientists and the other. So among them, I'm going to look at the analyst one. So what we have for people who are analysts, the people that they are not going to write any code. They are not going to write SQL code. They may not never go to the Power Query that we have in Power BI for data wrangling. So how they can use it? Yes, the use case can be limited, but still possible, but still they able to create some insight without knowing R, Python, or Azure ML. That's also possible. So what we have here, we have a key influencer visual that the first demo I'm going to show you. It's a visual that has been created using decision tree and regression behind the scene, but you never see anything about that. You just see the result and the analysis. So that's a one is available. So if I want to explain the icons that I use, so this is available in Power BI desktop free. So that single icon of person means available for everyone. And also it is GA, that that means that is not available, is not in preview. So this is one. The other one is a Q&A visual that's based on the NLP, natural language processing. Again, you couldn't see anything about the Python behind the code. We're just going to use it. That one is kind of a still preview. So the I means the still in preview, and is available in Power BI desktop, so you can use it. The other one that is really new, just Amir in the session mentioned, will be available in actually next week. But I can show you that that's a decomposition tree that help you again to find out the cause and effect. We're going to look at that one. I didn't include here, there are some visual that we already have from 2015. I'm going to show you that one, how we can do clustering and time series without writing any code. So about 5 or 6 demo we are going to see in an hour. Hope is actually you like it. So first of all, we are going to using the get data from one. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is key influencer that actually help you to get insight from data and to see that what factor will be impact on the other one. For example, you have a sales price, you want to know which column will have impact on the sales price. Or you want to know that how much is impact and what is the rule for that. So let's see that how it actually works. So this visual, let me show you a bit bigger. So first of all, I should mention any visual that you see, they have a light lamp, the yellow one. These are the visual that they use on machine learning behind the scene. They are analytics one. Microsoft start to create one. This influencer has been created on February, and about 2 months ago it was in preview, but now it's GA. That means that general available for everyone. I'm going to show you that one. The two other also is coming. This one already available, this Q&A. And this one is coming this November. So let's start with a Q&A, with a key influencer. Okay, so this is a visual that I have. I'm going to bring a data set. So I'm going to get a data set that I have about, let me see that, analyst. Okay, I'm going to analyze the customer feedback. So let me show you the data set that I have. This data set also available. I put it already in the blog post. So if you want later on to work on that, you can get that. So what I have here, I have a data set about different customer, for how many months they stay with us, if they have any complaint, what's the type of the complaint they have. So for example, they have complaint about feature of our product, about design and the other. How many tickets they issue, maybe 0 to 9, which continent they are coming, and also many, many things, how many people they have, what's their role in organization. And finally, the last column, if I go to the last column, which is rating, they rate us. They provide feedback for us as high and low. I want to know that which factor from their role, from the number of the ticket, from how many months they are with us will impact. So they rate us high and low. Okay? So we are going to see that how we can use that visual to help us. So I'm going back to the visualization here. So this visual, as you can see here, it has analyzed, it has explained by. So I want to analyze people like us or not. So I'm going to bring the rating here. For the explain by, I want to explain that one by how many months they are with us, so tenure. Then how many tickets they issue, what's their role in organization, and for example, their team of the actually company. I think I have 2 role organization here. Okay, so these are the things. So I'm going to explain how these factors will be impact on the rating. So these are my aim. So when I come here is create a chart like this for me. So what is this chart set? As you can see here, we have some actually rules here. So you see that actually we have team and some rules happen here. So first of all, I should say the orientation of this doesn't relate to the orientation of I drag and drop here. It's something totally different. So the first factor, the first influencer that is found is that the number of the ticket, if it's going down, that means that people issue less ticket, the chance of that they rate us high is actually going up or vice versa, okay? But how I can see that? At the top, you see that what influence rating to be high or low. So this has come from my data. If you have, for example, high, low, moderate, you will see there. If you, so it's based on your data coming. So I'm going to analyze in what situation people rate us high. So the first factor is that one. If I hover my mouse, a bit in zoom in, maybe not that much clear. Let me, yep. So it's provided description that a ticket can't decrease, the likelihood of rating high is increase. For example, for a fall of the 2.68 in ticket counts, the likelihood of that one is actually increased. So it provides some explanation for that. Also, it gives you a chart here, a scatter chart here that actually shows that scenario. So for example, these are the number of the ticket count. So it's going to increase here. This is the chance of people actually rate us low or high. So these are the actually, as you see, if the number of the ticket increase, this chance also going decrease. So it's kind of helped me to understand what is happened. We call this analysis in data science world as a descriptive analysis. That is, or you may heard about unsupervised learning. We don't predict anything. We just extract the rule behind the scene to see what happened in our data. So that can be really useful. So this is the one. The second one is for how many months these people stay with us. So from 0 months to 20 months, if they 29 months stay with us, that means that there is a chance that they rate us high. You may ask me a question. So if I'm back to the original data set, if I'm back to the data that I have, you will see that we have ticket count. It is numeric. The other one that is tenure, that should be here, also numeric. Both of them are numeric value. But when I come here, you see that for the first one, I can see a scatter chart that shows the continuous value of the ticket count from 0 to 10. But here is actually behind them. See that is a binding data. It doesn't set, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3. It grouped my data. I didn't do that. It's not my job, actually. I didn't group the data. So what's happened behind the scene? So behind the scene, there is an algorithm that first try to find the relationship between the rating, chance of the rating to be high, and the ticket number using some regression algorithm. It's do the same for this one, but not able to find it. So behind the scene is going to group your data itself. You couldn't change it. You couldn't say, I don't want to group. It's the algorithm behind the scene do that. So one of the approaches that you group yourself. So for example, you say, I'm not happy with this grouping. Based on the nature of my company, I want to group data in different ways, which is possible. Using the grouping, I will show you. Or you can just leave it as it. So you don't have any kind of access to say, don't group my data. So here is actually group the data. And you see, for the people who stay with the company between 0 to 29 months, they have high chance to rate you high. So these are you see that we couldn't see any algorithm behind the scene. We couldn't see anything, just actually what we have. But as you see that the impact of the tenure is just 1.1, but the previous one much higher. So that's the kind of the difference we have here. The second one is role organization. The price is if the complaint is about that, and the other things that we have here. Any question about this? Any idea? Yes?
So the number of tickets.
Number of tickets, yeah.
So is that tickets per month, or is that total tickets?
Okay, good point. I repeat the question. So the question is that, is it the total tickets or tickets per month? This is tickets per month, actually, for the each, actually, let me show you that one. So this is for each customer, actually. This is each customer ID per customer. That's a really good question because we can do the aggregation on that. So you don't want to see based on each row of customer. You want to see that based on their region. For example, they are from specific city, you want to analyze that. That's become a different one that I will show you. But this is based on each customer. For example, I'm as a separate customer that have ID of this, I issue, for example, that, yes, per month actually. Yeah, it is per month. This data set is per month, sorry, yeah. Any other question? Okay. This is a data that actually based on, I'm not sure this is real or not. You can also analyze it based on the law, actually. So you can analyze that, what impact law. Again, you see the number of the tickets has more impact. And in the second place, if they stay with us a lot. So that means that the customer that stay us more than 58 months, also maybe they need something more exciting to offer to them. That sometimes makes sense. They want to try other vendor. So we need also to take care of them. So let's see that what we have here. So this is just visual. It has a format. So if you go to the format part, you will see that we have analysts. So there are things so you can enable or disable the visual. So I don't want to show someone the key influencer, so I can just make it disable. So they couldn't see, they just see the other tab that I'm going to talk. Or for example, you don't want to show them the top segment, you can enable or disable that one. So what is the top segment? Let's see that. What is the segment part or top segment? Top segment is type of the clustering, is not k-mean clustering, it's type of the clustering that kind of get some rules for you. So it's going to, for example, the cluster 1 for when people are happy about us, this one. So I'm going to check the 1. What is that? That means that about 99% of the rating in this data, so it's group people. In that group, 99% of them rate us high. So who they are, I want to know them because I want to marketing for them. I want to know that, okay, so I may kind of provide some marketing things for them. So there are people who are publisher and they issue ticket less than 1. So it gives you some rules on your data. Still, we have some comments to the team that maybe it can be more descriptive than what it has, but it can be useful. Myself, my favorite one is actually this one, the key influencer. This one is sometimes a bit confusing, but it's still really good one. The other thing that we have, I will talk about this one, but just let's see what is the count. I'm back to the key influencer. So when I'm actually analyzing, I see some relationship between the number of the tickets and the possibility of the rating high. But maybe this is just a small number of people. So example, I have 1,000 people, just 50 of them actually, there is a relationship between they rate us high or low, okay? So sometimes the number also matters. The count of the people that has been impacted by this influence also matter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually here and make it enable. So when I make it enable, it's actually, it shows me, if you can see, it's a bit funny. My drawing also not really good, but I do my best. So you see that there is a line coming over here. You see that there's a line over the cycle. So it shows actually how much of people has been impacted by that figure. So this is the count. So you can actually choose to kind of sort based on them. As you see at the bottom of the page, we have, you can see sort by number of the count or sort by number of the influence. Sometimes it's important influence, how many, which factor influence. Sometimes it's important to see the number of the rows of data has been influenced. So these are the ones, so I can sort it by count here. And you see that, again, tenure has more this time, and the ticket count is the second place. So these are the analyses that we can do. That. Any question about these parts? Is it all good? Okay, let's go ahead. Another thing that we have here, if you ask me about coming here and see this one, I need to check that one. I didn't, it's just continue. I don't have the absolute answer for that, but this is a relative and need to check that, so just leave it. The other one that is here is analyze type. So analyze type is categorical. And it just showed me categorical, but there is a type that can be continuous variable. I analyze people rating high or low. You can analyze your customer stay with you or leave you. You can analyze that a customer can purchase silver, gold, or bronze sponsorship. But these are categorical. There is a possible that you want to analyze what impact on the sales price, what impact on the number of the customer I have. So it's a continuous value. Okay, so let's see that. What's that? I'm going to apply that on a different data set. So just going to get a different data set. This time is a house price. I got this data set from Microsoft team. So it's a house price in US. I'm not familiar with that, but it's actually that one. And I think it's a real one. I hope so. I'm not sure, but that's a really also good data set to test. So I'm going to load the data set. Okay, so now going to here. I don't want the customer. Now I'm going to the house price. So as you see that in the house price, I have lots of information like the lot area, quality of the house, and the other information, how many units it has, configuration, year of the build, many different attributes. And I have a last column that is the sale price. Now I'm analyze that which factor in my columns has been impact on the sales price. Is a bit different analysis. So going back to here, again, key influencer, this time by sales price, because I have lots of column, just write it. So I'm going to analyze based on the sale price. And I want to, for example, analyze it by year that the house has been built, by the quality of the house, overall quality, and maybe the lot area, just that, okay, just that one. So I can see the same thing, just as the top, you will see that we have increase or decrease. So I said that what influenced that the sales price going up or down. So that just makes sense, so kind of the different scenarios. So that one. And you see that, for example, the first important factor is the lot area, and the other one is overall quality, and the other one is the year build, that is actually how it is impact. If you click on the visual and you're going to the format, under the analyze, you will see that now we have continuous variable and categorical variable. This is a continuous variable analysis. In data science part, we call it regression. So it's a kind of the regression approach behind the scene that is going to analyze. So anytime you're going to find a pattern in your data based on the value that is actually like here is a sales price, we call it as a regression analysis, or yeah, the name is a bit not really business one, but yeah. That's a kind of that. If I want to change it to the categorical, I get an error that says sales price has more than 10 unique variable, because it's actually not able, categorical variable or classification one, not able to handle that. So you need to make it as a group, make it to the 10, less than 10 distinct values. So for example, middle price, high price, or something else. Or you can change it to the continuous value. Okay, so this is one of the visual that we have for analyzing the cause and effect. So behind, yes, please. Talking about the outliers, how he's handled the outlier. I need to check the behind the scene. They didn't share the algorithm. How's that process going? I just know that they use decision tree and actually regression behind the scene and another algorithm for binding the data. Need to check. Good question. We'll check. Yep.
So on the other tab, you picked the 3 explained by value.
Yes.
Is there a way to say, just tell me what are the 3 that have the most impact?
Yeah.
Can it not just tell us?
So that's a good question. Ask me that, is it possible that, for example, I have 30 columns of the data, which one has more impact on the data? Unfortunately, not. We don't have it. We call it feature selection, actually, in the machine learning, and one of the important phase that we have. Not yet. In this scenario, you need to select all of the columns to see. But it's not really smart, I know that. So that's a good feedback. I will definitely tell them about that. Thank you. Any other question about this? Okay. Yeah.
Following up on that gentleman's question, if this tool doesn't do that, do you have any recommendations from your work that does what he's talking about?
Sorry, say again.
You got 30 data or 30 columns, and it finds what product will find which of the 4 columns actually matter.
So asking about that, okay, so what we, for example, we have 30 columns. We want to know that which one, what approaches we need to do. So we have different approaches like feature selections that is going to find there is a, for example, correlation analysis that is going to find a one-to-one relationship between them. There are multiple algorithms that we can apply to do that. There are some of the tests actually, like like a H1 and H2 test that actually help you to do that. Here we don't have it yet, but hopefully there are some approach in R and Python that actually you can use. If you're interested, I can send you some of the articles about the code and how we can do that. We don't have it still here. Yes, in Azure Machine Learning, yes, that's a good point. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, in Azure Machine Learning, we have a feature selection node. That was really good for analytics data, but for the classification, sometimes it's a bit funny. But for the regression analysis, it's really good. Thank you. Yes, just check that one. Yeah, thank you. Any other question? Okay, so let's continue. This is the one that actually you see. Now I'm going to, going a bit ahead, going to the one that actually released last month. So I just provide some overview, it's still new. We already have Q&A in Power BI. People who work with Power BI, they know that we have some kind of Q&A. But this one is coming a bit more advanced, that you can define your term over there. So we are going to see that how it actually works. So I'm going to the Power BI. Just a notation for this one, for Q&A that I'm going to talk. If you couldn't see that one, it happened that they are still in preview, you couldn't see that. You need to go to the File Options, and Setting, to the Options, and under the Global Attribute, that is Preview feature, you should enable them. For me, because it's already there, so I don't need to do that, but you need to enable them and then close that one to see that. Okay, so I'm going to the Q&A one. Before that, let me see what we have. I always have the chance to double click here and start to write. For example, let me bring first a good data set first. That's a data set we have. From Adventure Book, the famous one. I'm going to get the, for example, fact internet sales. That's the data. I'm going to analyze the sales amount based on the product, and also for the next demo, also I need another one, so I bring it here. I'm already there, so let's bring the other one. So I bring three, just simple table here. Now I'm going to write some, so as an analyst people, so it's happened that as a BI people, create the data, create all of the models, and you just give the data to them and they can start to write. So I'm going to set show sales sales amount. Let me sales amount, for example, show the sales amount by English product name as stack bar chart, for example. So these are the already exist. It's not something new that we have. So you can write and identify the name of the actually charts that you want. We already have that one. But imagine that among that, I want to set that show profitable one. Okay, so I put that one. There is a term, for example, in our company, we said profitable or whatever. As you see here, there is a red line here. That means that this is not clear. And as you see here, it says showing result, show. So it's actually create something and ignore the profitable. I want to define that. This is a, for example, this is a common word in our company and we use it. How could I do that? I need to go to the setting here. I'm going to the setting and I'm zoom out. Here we have the option to teach Q&A. So I'm going to teach it that, okay, I want to teach that one. And here is ask me, okay, what you mean from profitable? What's your measure for to be something profitable? So I'm saying that when the fact internet sales amount is greater than, for example, 2,000 or something. Yeah, for example, something like that. And it's going to actually do that. So maybe, yeah. For example, if the sales amount for each product is greater than, and as you see here, it create also a preview for me, and I'm able to save it. So I'm going to save it. And when I'm save it, if I go to the manage term, you will see that the term has been declared here. There are some things that, okay, we want to kind of provide more complex DAX code for there, or complex formula. Still working on that, so I hope that in future we have more complex formula, so you can write all of your formula there, but this is the one. Also, if you have other questions before, so for example, in other data flow or other, you have other questions, you can go to them and refine them here. So that's actually a really cool one. Still, I didn't work with every part, but this is the part that I'm already worked at and I see. And here, if you look at here, it's not anymore red, and I can click here to make it as a normal visual. This is a normal visual, it's a slice and dice, and it's actually work very good. Okay, so this is the one that I want to show. And the new one that's actually will be released very soon. The name is decomposition tree. So that actually also show the cause and effect over here. I'm going to show you that how it works. It has the analyze and explain by feature here. So I'm going to use it for that scenario of the customer feedback. We are going to analyze the rating. For example, I said rating to be, as a slicer, rating to be high, for example, by the tenure, by the number of the ticket count, and the other. So when I click it here, it actually allows me to go through that. So I want to analyze it based on high value. So it's going to look at the ticket count. So it's going to see that, okay, if I browse it based on ticket count, these are the number of the people that actually has more impact on that. Or for example, I can set based on the low value, is going again to look at the tenure. So if people stay with us with between the 44, how it actually work. You can also go to the other level and analyze that. If you don't want to do that, just look at as a one. So you can set, I want to see the tenure, to see that how many people actually in that category. So that's another one. It's still working on that. So we'll be provide more explanation and how it actually works. Okay, so these are the analytics visual. Now I'm going to show you some of the capability that we have inside Power BI for clustering and time series. Some of you already maybe work with them. I'm going to show you a demo about the sales amount and the other with a scatter chart. So I'm click on the scatter chart here. I'm going to compare the sales amount from fact internet sales. So I put it here as the average of the sales amount from fact internet sales, and also from the other table that is reseller sales. So for both of them, I want to compare them together. So average of both of them. And based on the product value, so product English product name as a detail. So these are the actually a simple scatter chart that shows the average of the sales amount from the fact internet sales with the other one. Now, if I click here, you will see that we have an option to automatically find clusters. So if I click on that, it's asking me that how many clusters you want to group that. So behind the scene, there is a k-mean algorithm behind the scene that asks you about the number of the cluster you want to do. If you don't put it out, it's going to naturally group your data, or you can specify the exact number of clusters that you want. So I said, yeah, find it yourself, and it's going to apply clustering on my algorithm, on my data set, and provide the cluster data over here. So these are the kind of the very simple clustering algorithm. You can actually ask to show the data. So you will see that each of the data point that we have here. Also, there is a way to import it, export the data. Yeah, I think so. If you export the data, it should shows you the, let me save it somewhere. I think it should shows you the number of the actual cluster number and the other parts. No, yes, it actually shows you. So you can actually access to the data here. Yep, it's not a really good data set to do that, but yeah, it's showing that's a cluster one. And also, of course, you need to remove the value from this. So this is a very simple one. Or for example, if I change it to the line chart, maybe not this one, is not a really complex one, but just try. I'll just remove the other one. And it should have a, we are able to predict. Let's do that with another data set, that is the milk production. I'm going to bring that one here. It's a CSV file related to the milk production. So I'm going to bring that data set here. So this is a simple data set that has the milk production in a value and the date of that. So I simply load that one here, and I'm using the line chart to show that. So just use that one. So here I can set I want the date and the value over here. So it's a simple one. Now if I go to the actually to the analyst, that's actually the analytics one, you see that we have a forecast option. So I can say I want to forecast for the next 10, for example, I think this is next 10 months. I need to check that, but this is for next 10 months. Here we don't have that actually that much option. I will show you a better chart that actually help you to do that, but this actually show you the forecasting. These are not the best approach for the forecasting or clustering. They miss a lot of things like seasonality. Is it the data monthly or the other? I will show you the R1 that we have in Power BI that actually help you to do that. But it still is possible. It's still possible with a simple chart. But let's look at the much more complex one in the other demo. Okay, so I'm going to show you first the one. If you go to the marketplace, and we have an analytics, advanced analytics part. This part has exist from 2015, 2016. So these are actually some of the visual that already exist. You see that clustering with outlier and the other options. I want to show you the very simple one, but useful. That name is decomposition tree. No. Let me see. Should be on advanced, or maybe just that's where I put it. Decomposition tree. Yeah, time series decomposition chart. Sorry. So I'm going to add it. It already adds. I'm just going to use it. So these are the visual that we have. There is a problem about, there's a kind of the hint about these visual from there. Some of them use R behind the scene. So when you import them, they start to install some of the package on your local machine there. So just make sure that this actually happens. You already access that. Then you enable, oh no, just make it available here. No, okay, let me. Okay, it's already there. Let's explain on that. So what I have here, I have actually the chart here is actually asked me a time and the value. And this is for milk production. So this chart is actually able to show me different things here. So as you see, here is able to show the data. So these are the seasonality of the time of the production of the milk. You see that in some season it's going high, in some is going down. Also, beside that, it actually shows the trend of the milk production, how much actually we produce the milk. Is it increasing or decreasing? And also it shows me there's some noise in the data. So these are the actually, I think that is one of the really useful one, can be used. Also, if you go into the format of that, you're able to see that you're able to set it up different parameters of the algorithm. So these are the actually everything. Let me see that there is a place that we can kind of set it up. This is monthly or the other one. It should be some place to set it up that I couldn't find it now. But as you see here, is able to detect it. That's about 12 is a frequency monthly, and about 39% of the data has seasonality, is changing, has a pattern, and there is a trend on the data, and also we have 70% noise in the data. There is another chart again here that help you to do the prediction for the time series. It's a bit slow, but hope so it's coming. This is this one that we call it forecasting with ARIMA. Again, is available there. This one is a bit much better than the other one that I showed. So in this one, you're able to see all of the changes happen. You're able to specify the confidence level in both level. You're able to identify the seasonality. This is monthly, weekly, or quarter. So it's kind of much more better than the other one. And other factors that I'm not going to talk about that. So these are actually the options that we have here. And you can, so these things already available, but they are not actually has been used for a while. If you ask me that, how could I access to them? Just need to search for Power BI custom visual, for example, time series. The code and everything behind the scene is already available on the GitHub website. On the GitHub. So let me, for example, forecasting, this one is one of the time series that I showed to you. So all of the code behind them already available. So you can go and kind of see that what the algorithm has been used and how we can use. So for the R1 is already available, which is good actually. There is an approach, I have some blog posts on that, how to create custom visual. So you can change it and create your own custom visual through that one. So these are the kind of the different machine learning one. Now let's back to see that what sort of the AI option we have for the analyst people. So I'm going to bring another data set here. The data set that I have is about the customer feedback. So I'm going to bring that one here. So I'm going to the, I'm going to the hotel review. I'm going through that. This is maybe, always maybe not all data analysis use it, but it's easy to use. So you just need to go to the transform the data here, and under that, so as you see here, I have some actually text about I was not made about of. So there's a comment from the people to our product here. So these are the different comments that we have there. I'm just remove other column to make it clear. So here what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to use an option that we have recently that actually help you to analyze the text. So I'm going to text analytics here, and is going to connect to the cognitive services, and I'm able actually to use some sentiment analysis or keyword extraction through that. We're going to show you that one. Hope the internet. If it's not, let's connect my. Just a minute. Ah, come on. Okay. So here I'm going to use the score sentiment here. It's going to actually apply on my data set, and it give me a number that how much this customer is happy or unhappy about my product. So this customer, the first one, that's talking about the room, it was not really good, is about kind of very unhappy. Or the other one that is talking about that is a decent place to stay and blah, blah, is really happy about mine. Now imagine that I want to have some customers, I want to know that which country they come from. Or for example, I have a list of the movies, I want to know that these movies comes from which country. So I'm just going to show you another data set that is for the IMDb movie. So we are going to see that how we can use this service for that one. So I have about 15,000 rows of the data for the IMDb movie with the title and ID. So, and there are a lot, so I'm going to limit that. So I'm going to keep top or keep bottom rows. So I'm just apply on 20 rows of data. Now I'm going to actually use the same service named Text Analytics to identify the language. So there is a service there that actually help you to identify the language. Let me, till it's coming, I show you that how many languages is support. So Text Analytics, cognitive service, support. So it's actually able to apply on these languages. So as you see here, is available on English, Finnish, French, German, Greek, Hungarian, Italian. So in this type of the language, you can apply sentiment analysis and language detection. So I'm going to know that which of these languages are from actually which country. So I said that this is the movie name. Apply it. Hope it works. And it's going to actually tell me that which of these are related to one. Maybe some of you knows other. I'm kind of don't know, for example, other one, but just see that how it actually comes up. So it's actually help you to identify that your customer coming from which city or which country. So you can able to do that. So here the first one is Italian. Do we know anyone in Italian here? No. I want to check it. Is it correct? We have Latin one, Swedish. This is one that says Swedish. So based on the language, it says it's actually able to detect one. So this is actually good because you just have a simple one, you get the feedback. So if you have a multinational one, you can identify which one comes from there and apply sentiment analysis through them. That's become actually a really cool scenario. Okay, so these are the kind of the different things that we have from sentiment analysis and the other, and it's not kind of limited to that. There are many things coming. I mean that they start from 2019. As they said, there are about 5,000 people in Microsoft. They are working in AI, and is growing. So that means that in all of the products, from Power BI, Power Apps, Flow, SQL Server, you will see more AI features. That is not you need to know R or Python. They are going to embed them, which is really good. Many people they don't want to go to learn other language. They're just happy with learning DAX, SQL. They just want to use AI in their product. So this coming, still preview still has some problems. So if you work with these products, you see some problem, please let me know, like the feature selection that you mean or other, because we have some chats with the team sometimes and we can refer to them. Or for the Power BI, we have a Ask Power BI, Ask Me question, or for voting, you can go and vote over there, which is really cool. These are the link to the material that I talk. About most of them, I write a blog post or video. Also, there is if you're interested to learn R in Power BI, I have a free book. It's available in our website. It's a bit old. It's about for 2016, 2017, but it still helps you to know that how to use R inside Power BI. And also about Azure Machine Learning, if you're interested, that one also free. This one is not actually based on the A-Press, but these two are already available, and you can download through them. So I will be here if you have any question about the things that actually I talk, any ideas about them. Have you anyone works with one of these visual that I wrote about key influencer? Have anyone works with them before? No. Okay. So please go and work and see that is it applicable for your product, because there's a real feedback. You are actually help them to improve it. Also, a Q&A and the other one, please work with them and let me and also let us know about that. Thanks so much for coming this early morning to my session. They are really interesting sessions, so please go there. Thank you. Thanks so much.